gentlemen, fellow councillors, please stand to welcome our Mayor of Biddle, Councillor Ken Harper, the Deputy Mayor of Biddle, Councillor Nigel Yates, and our Chief Officer, Mrs. Sarah Hayden. Thank you. And before we start, can I just quick? I'm sorry, go. Can I ask Pastor Mark Alcott to take a prayer for our meeting, please?
Yeah. Just like to say before I pray, I had a visitor with me this weekend from Central Europe who commented how warm and welcoming Biddle as a community was. Sometimes we see the problems, and it's worth just mentioning sometimes the good things that are going on in this town. I'm sure you're a part of that. So I just want to pray with a thankful heart for where we live. So Lord, I thank you that Biddle is a warm and welcoming town. I thank you for the work that goes on in this room to help move this town and this community forward and to help to make it a better place and a more welcoming place, a better place to live for residents. I thank you for those that are working behind the scenes. I thank you for Biddle in Bloom. I thank you for the volunteers that work so hard, for the people who are working in food banks to help those who are most in need. I thank you for those that are running parents and toddlers and other services in this town. And I just pray with a thankful heart for where we already are and what we already have in this town. And I just pray that you will help everybody in this room to make good, wise, and fruitful decisions that will help to make this town even better going forward. Pray that in the name of Jesus.
Amen. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Right, councillors, please be seated. Right, good evening, everybody. Just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Middletown Council YouTube page. The aim is that decision making should be transparent and domain, which will involve our community and local democracy. Having in this council chamber, you are consenting to be being recorded and for your image to be added to YouTube. The images and the sound may be used for training purposes. Any views expressed are speakers own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Middletown Council. Please view the guidance on recording in public meetings policy if you require more information. Right, so 95 is public participation. I think just continue there in the make sure everyone got any technical problems with the M Blue. Can we swap A and B, please? Yeah. Go on, Mary. Well, good to see you again.
It's nice to see everybody again. I'm Mary from Next Fiber. We are a broadband company. We have been we were founded in 2019. We're based, office based in London, but we have been building our broadband network in Essex, Cambridgeshire, Derbyshire, Staffordshire, Sheffield, you know, a few different places. And we are bringing sort of a fast, reliable, full fibre broadband network to the towns and villages. We are a multi-million-pound invested company by Foresight Group, and we're growing very quickly into lots of new towns around the areas, bringing full fibre broadband homes and businesses. And this is basically our mission. It is to bring the best broadband to the communities that need it. We know a lot of places, you know, especially rural areas, really struggle with broadband. The reason I'm here today is we have been awarded a £15 million contract from the government to build a full fibre project, a full fibre broadband project within North East Staffordshire region. So this is bringing the fibre to the areas that need it most. A lot of the towns and cities are the ones that normally get the full fibre infrastructure, and it's always the rural areas that are the last to get it, especially like farms and things like that that are outside of main villages as well. So the project Gigabit is about kind of supporting these areas that would normally get it last if they do at all, because it's not commercially viable for, you know, the big boys like Openreach. So that's why this project was put into place pretty much on the back of COVID, when people were trying to work from home. So we will be building within the local area, and my role is about coming out and engaging and letting everybody know who we are and what we're doing. So full fibre, those that don't know, the broadband as it stands is essentially part of copper, so it's part of the Openreach network that has been there many, many years, and the copper is just old, degrading, and it's costing Openreach a lot of money, and it's very slow. So the latest broadband service is full fibre, fibre optic, straight from the cabinet, straight into the space. It's a lot faster, it's a lot more reliable. So it's a lot better. It doesn't break down so much like the copper network does. So the area that we are going to be building is as I say, from the North East Staffordshire area. So we are also going to be building what we call a backhaul system. So it makes a lot, it protects it for residents. So if one part of it goes down, there's always a backhaul. So these are the areas that we're going to be building. We'll be building in some of these areas. One of the nearest why I'm here today is for Knightley. So we will be having like a small BT exchange cabinet, and then we'll be laying all the fibre throughout, working closely with existing ducts and poles where possible. So it just means that we can get in. We've had the network from Openreach, so they can let us know what ducting's there, and then we can go in. We're testing it at the moment to see what's there. A lot of it hasn't been touched for many, many years, so there's blockages and things like that we're coming across. So we're doing all the testing at the moment. But doing it this way, it causes much less disruption, and like, you know, some broadband fibres like digging up the streets and causing. So we are an open licensed telecom provider. As I say, we've been there since 2019. And we're working very closely with all the local highways agencies, Staffordshire and the region as well. So going over on that, so our design principles are basically to utilise the Openreach system, so all the existing underground infrastructure. Again, as I said, a lot of it is very old, so we're doing testing at the moment, coming across lots of blockages and damages and things like that. So instead of actually really going back to Openreach and saying, you know, there's issues here, we can actually repair the damage as well. So again, it's, you know, it's working closely with them as well as the underground. They let us know obviously what overhead, so poles and things like that are already there, and we can utilise existing the existing infrastructure and power lines from the poles there as well. If we do need to, depending upon the infrastructure, we will need to put in new telegraph poles, but then again, that's something that we work with communities, let them know where they will be if we need to do them. And again, looking at the existing infrastructure, is seeing what's needed, and we can just get it done as quickly as possible for the communities. Because obviously we're aware these are rural communities that we are building into. So really, as overall, it's what it is. It's a lot faster. As I say, with speeds up to 1,000 megabits per second or a gig. It's full fibre delivery service. So it's a lot more stable. So it's guaranteed Wi-Fi. With ours, even though we are doing this as a network provider, we have no usage limits on our own broadband.
No, carry on. I'm just indicating that I would like to speak when you finish.
Good.
There you go.
Good time.
Right, there's just one question, Mary, before I let these two in.
Yeah.
You mentioned just less disruption. How much disruption?
There's always going to be disruption because we have to get into the ducting to lay the fibre. So that's why we're working closely with highways, because then we can work on timings, because obviously a lot of areas, you know, around this region where we're building, you know, around the autumn area, we know coming into obviously holiday seasons and things like that we're aware of. So we're working really closely with them so they we can get in and out as quickly as we possibly can with less disruption.
Thank you, Mary. If you've got any further queries on
Absolutely.
Wait.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Yeah, thank you very much. I understand it's the way of the world and we've got to go down this line. I've actually been a TV engineer and built for 50 years, so I know it fairly well. What I don't understand in some ways, the area that you're covering has probably got the best broadband already. I think there's areas of built that appreciate it more, that don't get good coverage, and then grow from there. But it's just a comment. Not all of NABS is good, but a lot of it has already. A lot of the outlying areas have got next to no broadband at the moment, and they would appreciate it more.
That's the areas that we're covering. So the Project Gigabit is from the government. Government have supplied us, or they will do supply us with the addresses for the areas that are needed. So they are the areas that won't. So that's why it's more outside of the main bounds. As I say, this is, you know, for our area here for the and it would be Knightley, and then it will be going around from there. So it is for the rural areas.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mary. Councillor Redfern and Councillor Jones.
Yes, as a Knightley councillor, I'm a little apprehensive about what is about to hit my area. In the past, I've had a number of projects. One person at a time, please. Thank you. We've had a number of projects that have left our pavements and our roads in a very sad state of repair. In fact, some of them still haven't been repaired from the days when I think cable television was going to be the wonderful thing of the time. So it does rather worry me that companies tend to put the infrastructure in, go bankrupt, and then when you want to try and get the infrastructure repaired, there's no fund, no thing back. That will be my first point. My second point is, how much will it cost people to get onto your network? And will that involve digging up pavements to get to their properties? And will it then be a cost to the person to take that cable from the public highway into their properties? Because certainly where I live on Park Lane, a lot of the properties there have very long drives, and I think, frankly, they wouldn't particularly wish to have the expense of that coming forwards. Is it going to be the whole of the Knightley area from Park Lane upwards, or is it also including the Knightley area, which I think is in Nigel's ward, which is on the other side of the main road? So exactly what area is involved and which properties will be involved with it? Thank you.
So starting with the build side of things, so we've been building within villages and towns since 2019. We're very aware of previous, you know, I remember it from years ago when, you know, the old cable companies were coming in, digging up roads and causing chaos and, you know, just not filling it in correctly. I've not heard of any of our builds having that issue. As I say, we've been building since 2019. We've been awarded this contract by the government for Staffordshire. We've also been awarded another £33 million contract to do Derbyshire as well. So I think it's to a testament that we are very conscious of communities and how we build. And so with minimal disruption, it's never going to go back perfectly, because obviously if I don't think we build in, it's not going to be a perfect match, but it's very well to the best, you know, the best way that we can. So as I say, we won't leave, you know, leave payments and you know, as a trip hazard or anything like that. With regards to the areas or the properties are actually given to us by the government. So these are the areas of these properties that have either registered the interest through the website, so through the voucher scheme, or it's areas that the government have you know, once you realise that they're not going to get any sort of decent broadband, so that's why it comes into this. So there's lots, they're called lots that are all over the whole country. They're out attending to different broadband networks to build these networks. So this contract is for build. So we are building a network. We are an ISP, so we are a broadband provider. So we will be available to customers to sell it, but we will also open it up to other broadband companies as well. So customers can get a range of different companies to get different prices. So they don't have to come to us to get it. We're open to up for different providers. So and that's another side of the build that we do. If we need to do any, you know, builds, if we need to do poles, if we, you know, replace ducting, we work with other providers, so it's shared with those as well. That's as I say, the address has come from the government, so we're all doing the surveys at the moment to see what's needed, see what's needed.
Thank you, Mary. Councillor Jones, Councillor Hurley, Councillor Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for coming. It sounds fabulous. I couldn't see the map, was too far away from my dim old eyes. I couldn't see Biddulph on there. I presume it's part of the scheme. I hope it is, because the broadband up there can be a little bit flaky. But my point I wanted to make was, it's to you and to our county councillors, and I don't know what basis your licences to dig the roads up have been issued, but can we please try and ensure that we don't resurface New Street and then these come along and start digging it up again? Because most of the issues on New Street have been because of bad utility repairs. So I'm hoping there's going to be some close liaison, and you two are going to keep an eye on it for us and try and make sure that that doesn't happen. Can you tell me, have you got carte blanche to go and dig roads without?
I don't know the building.
To council.
That's what we're working closely with. So.
Okay. I mean, you can see what I'm saying. That's just the point I wanted to make. I won't labour it. Thank you.
Very quickly, one of the reasons that footpaths haven't been repaired over the last 5 years is that private companies have been given by central government permitting rights to actually dig effectively without permit. So knowing that the government are pushing this full fibre installation, and it's got a target date of completion, I think it's 2028, but there might be some slippage on that, is when the implied permission lapses, which means the council can go back to do the pavements, because we're very much aware that there's an awful lot of pavements being done, but also very much aware that as soon as you do a pavement, somebody's going to come along and dig it up. So it's a case of getting that balance right. At the moment, they're only doing critical emergency repairs on pavements. And there's a case for saying that a lot of pavements and then we really need a critical emergency repair, but so be it.
If I may just, Mr. Mayor, it possibly isn't going to be just pavements though, is it? Most of it will be pavements, I accept that, but there will be some maybe highway digging to do. And so we certainly don't want to wait till after 2028 to get New Street resurfaced, are you?
Councillor.
I just want to reiterate effectively what Councillor Jones has said in terms of the Biddulph Moor, as effectively what we tend to find. We haven't got gas up there, we haven't got this, we haven't got that, because we are out of the way. One of the reasons we don't get the fast full fibre broadband is because we're out of the way. So I'm hoping that you are actually going to alleviate that problem, so at least we do get some decent service up on the Biddulph Moor.
What I'll do is I'll take that away. I'll remember the place. So as I say, the address is government anyway. But what I can do is feed it back to our delivery team. So if it isn't within what the government has given us to us, there may be a way that we can add on. That's what we do with councils all over the place. It's working with them. So if we're building down one street, for instance, and we, you know, there's other ones that are close by or close villages that we can easily get to, then we will work with council to be able to let those into build that. I'll do that.
Thank you, Ray. Councillor Jackson, I'm drawing a line on this, and if anybody's got any more queries, pass them through to Sarah. She'll send an email.
Yeah, I'll be brief. I think first of all, I think the thing to say broadband is getting as important as water, electricity and gas. The Middlesbrough hasn't got the gas, but it's important. And it's also, as a householder as well, if you've got a really good broadband connection, your house price increases as well. So there's a financial for the householder as well to actually go in for. But how much would your monthly charges be? Have you got that information yet?
For our regular pricing as it stands at the minute we have offers on as do most broadband providers, but they're generally from about £20–25 a month. We also have social values, social tariff as well, where a lot of companies don't. So that's, you know, it's support there for people as well. So we have introduced that as well.
Well, that does sound really competitive. Just looked up more.
There's no point in charging
1100 megabits is about 39 quid.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's competitive. Now, if you've got your hub somewhere in the Knightley area, and you draw a circle from that hub, how far out can you go from that one?
Again, it comes from the government where we build, you see. So it's working around on that at the moment. We're working, doing all the testing within the ducting at the moment. And then they'll be doing the surveys, and then we'll be sort of starting to build in a few months' time. But as I say, for property-wise, as I say, it comes from the government, and then we'll start building from there.
Oh, yeah, I'm just trying to. All right, I'm not.
Yeah, that's
my impression is you build a box, and that box will then spread out to wherever. But there's got to be a limit to how far that box can service before you need another box to boost it or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm sort of asking. I mean, mainly sort of some of the outlying areas from say Knightley Corners, you're looking at 2.5 to 3 miles going up to the top of the far reaches of Biltmore. And I'm just wondering whether that box would reach that far.
I'm not sure on the full reach of them because again it depends on the addresses, but I think there's one in say there's 9%, the next one on from there is Kids Road. So as I say, so we'll be linking the fibre, we'll be linking.
Okay. And apologies for your last attendance. Unfortunately.
So let's come and see you everyone again.
Thank you very much for that, Mary, and I'm sure if councillors have any more queries, that's all to say.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yes, thank you.
What I haven't done before we started the meeting was to confirm that attendees' names will be minuted. Okay, so if you haven't signed your form, make sure you do for your afterwards. The next item, it's Bill in Blue. Again, for me, it's a 5 minute supplementary on Bill in Blue. Then if we can try and keep it to one question each, and then any other questions can go to Sarah. She contact Bill in Blue. Right, love, sorry about that.
Hi. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Leslie Drum, and I took on chair of Middleton. Can I just say that the work I've done over the last 12 months, I have no idea how Hilda did all the work Middleton Blue, and was a councillor and a district councillor, I've just no idea. So can I just put that out there? This is Ryan, and he's drawn up some plans for a garden, which I know was discussed on by you at a previous meeting. And we'd like to put forward a plan, and Ryan's going to talk it through. So I'm sorry about the technical malfunction. It was going to be on the TV. It's have a look at the garden. It's going to point out some of the logic behind how the garden is being designed into more detail.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I've not been compatible with the TV to show you, so I'll just have to show you back the panel on the tablet. If you want to, that's fine. So we've all got the plan in front of you.
Yes.
Now, obviously, you're aware of the plot of land we'd like to put it on as the it's going into North Road car park there. So, in discussion with Staffordshire Mall and the traffic to grant the license, I think, on the approval from does that think? Yes. But anyway, so the brief I had from Staffordshire Mall and says, as long as you bear in mind any future alterations to the road. So it says, although there's not any in place at the moment, it says, whatever can do, can it be, and we'll take that in mind. So as you'll see from the plan, the pavement goes all the way around. Currently on this side here, there was an extended pavement put with 2 containers, what had done by the council. That was done because when the road was last altered, it ended up chopping off most of the pavement. You'll actually see it in the tarmac if you go down. There's a street sign just on the end. And so this extra piece was added to give obviously width of the pavement. So what I propose to do is obviously keep the same size, the standard size pavement, which is 195, and putting into that extra piece, which will enable the access provided there. I've also, if you noticed, I have set the design slightly in. So hopefully any alterations that might need to be done, it can be taken off corners, etc. So in this design, I've used concrete half pipes. So the concrete manhole rings, if you are aware of those. So those are concrete manhole rings. So they come in various heights, various dimensions. So just by using these different heights and dimensions, hopefully it should give quite an interesting look to it. And obviously planted up, it can look quite contemporary. And in this picture here, you'll see they've actually been painted as well. So that's something else we could potentially look at. Maybe incorporating local students to maybe paint them to add to the effect of it. And then obviously with that, if there does need some road widening, they can easily be dismantled, moved, etc. So hopefully we won't lose impact on the garden itself. But if the alteration needs to be done, then it can be. So within those half pipes, we plan to use herbaceous planting. So that's just an example of, obviously most of you'll know what herbaceous planting is. So it just, it's very insect friendly, adds lots of colour, it's sustainable because it comes up year in, year out. In between concrete half pipes, you'll notice 2 sections there, which I'd like to do some rose beds. So edged with just some wooden inverted sleepers, just to give a small edging, just a definition, just to start obviously people walking all over it. And within that, the plant rose bed. So the rose one of the roses I like to use, the very first rose we ever planted with Middleton Bloom. We did a rose bed down.
The picture's gone.
We did a rose bed down Foll Lane. One of the very first rose beds we did was this yellow one, a very heavily scented rose. So that's one thing I'd like to bring in there. The second rose bed, you'll notice some white roses at the bottom, Thames Drive. So they are a tall one, and then again, a very heavily scented rose, and one which Hilda took quite some months researching, trying to find the variety, because nobody knew what the variety was. Oh, Jody's got pictures. Yes, please, the next one as well. Next one. It's been ordered. So that would do. So the white rose edged again with a nice contrasting rose. And then finally edged again with some lavender. You all know what lavender is, don't we? So again, heavily scented, insect friendly. The back wall of the garden at the moment, well, it's not, well, just the area at the moment, it's got this backdrop of that one did you? So you'll see the cotoneasters at the back there, which obviously we can keep that hedge, trim it back. It's got an old concrete wall there. So what I'd like to do is just to kind of edge that wall again with edge that wall with inverted sleepers again, and going out in the middle, making just a slight semicircle as an area for, we do have another clematis sculpture. You've seen the clematis at the end there. We had 4 done originally. So the 4th one was always, we're always looking for a home for it. So I'd like to add that at the back as a focal point in the garden. And then against that back wall, again, we'd like to add one of these signs, very similar to what's in front of the town hall. So a place where notices can be displayed. We can also tell people about the garden, about Hilda, etc. And maybe with some of our flower towers either side of it. So the entrance into the garden itself, the main entrance, like to put a moon arch. So I've been in touch with the artist that did the clematis sculpture, and he wants to come on board and do us a nice decorative moon arch. So it'd be a really sort of big thing like this, and we thought he could decorate it. He could make some more clematis like going around the arch, etc., making that sort of the main entrance. But you'll notice in the design as well, there's also entrances at the top as well, going out at either side. So a good flow can go through the garden itself, so that you're not like boxed in once you're in. The floor of the garden itself. So we'd like to do this in resin. So some of you might be familiar with that. You might even have it when you drive at home. So it's a material similar to tarmac, but as you can see with the resin, you can get some interesting colours and shapes. We'd like to add maybe some flowers in, like a basic flower shape colour into the floor itself. Seating. So we'd also like to add some freestanding seats. So this is just an example from Brock's app of kind of a freestanding, that's the one, freestanding sort of seat, again in wood to complement the other bits of wood. So by using a bit of wood within the garden, it just does help to soften it. Because obviously there's a lot of hard standing, the concrete itself and the resin. So just to soften those areas. I've also left in, at the moment, we have a rose bed on this end here. So the town council do want to provide a bike stand. So what I've done is I've just sectioned the garden off itself, and that area there where the rose bed was can be filled in, and it will be a nice area for a bike stand. So that's basically it. So,
right. Yes, well, I have that particular question. First of all, thank you for that presentation. I don't think tonight, because we are limited what we can do, it could be referred, I think, to the appropriate committee, if you would. and talk in greater depth and greater detail. There's going to be time to discuss these sort of things. This is like a time. Would you be prepared to do that?
Yes, of course.
Would councillors agree to that? Right.
Well, it should be, Mr. Mayor.
Just a question for Sam, does this scheme require planning permission?
Yes, I've been in touch with Dr. Morlands, and because we need to concrete in the moon arch and the
Yes.
sculpture, they need planning permission.
Then I would suggest that things the planning committee the appropriate time for discussion, because one of the other things which I wanted to mention was the resident driveway. That needs to be permanent.
It is.
Yeah, because of such regulation, so it's something to be aware of when you go to the West End.
I mean,
Yeah, it's just Ryan, what is it, I mean, we can, you know, expand on this when we come back, but while we've got all counselling, what is it that Middleton Bloom are actually asking of the town council to do? I can see one straight away, it's our aspiration to put that bike stand in there, which we can certainly, you know, sort that bit out finance wise, I would say. But what's Middleton Bloom after from the town council? Is there, you know, is there anything that you want us to get on board with?
Yeah, well, we definitely want your permission to actually do it, because that's the main thing. We can't do it without your permission. So that's the first thing. Because we don't get permission to use the actual land. In terms of funding, we have been squirreling fundraising money away. So we have got a lot of money that we can start with. Ryan's been in touch with certain ones.
So, yeah, why we're sort of doing this in the first place, the general public keep approaching us, why aren't we doing anything to commemorate Hills, etc. And local businesses have come forward to offer money, supplies, etc. So a lot of this, we will be having a lot of it donated. People want to donate to this.
So we were thinking of having another fundraising session and saying, you know, we're creating this garden, this is what it's going to look like. If you'd like to donate towards the garden, we'd appreciate it and see how we go.
I'm just wondering whether there was any scope for shared prosperity funding and
no, it's an important question.
People waiting back on greatest respect. And that's just go. Because we're trying to keep it to 5 minutes, we're now 18 minutes. Well, you know, you're go straight out.
You want me to speak then, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, go on then.
Thank you. Firstly, we can't give you permission because it's not our land. So there's nothing the town council can do permission wise because it's SMDC land.
Well, in response to that, Statute Morlands are granting a licence to you. And if the licence is granted to you, I believe that we have to have permission from you.
Okay, so the town council needs to decide whether we go and ask for a licence. Right, so that needs to go on a completely separate, probably community. But the second thing is I do like the design and I like everything that you're doing in there, but I don't want that memorial rose bed to go because that was planted by, I think, Madeline and Jeanette. It won't be going.
It's not going, it's moving
right
to over the road. So over the road, we've got a bed there at the moment, which needs drastically redoing.
Okay.
So what we thought, we would move the memorial rose bed over the road so that can have its own.
That's fine, thank you. I just didn't want that to go.
No.
Thank you. The last word from
I was going to say, if that's the crux of the issue, is that town council will need to have take a licence from the district council for the land. And then we will need to satisfy ourselves that the building processes that are undertaken by build review are acceptable by contractors. Risk assessments, all of that stuff. So I think probably it's a finance strategy management.
I think Nigel wants it
it's my old planning application.
That's true, yes. Right, thank you for that, Sarah. Right, thank you very much, councillor.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry then.
Just for the minutes, then I'll move that to a minutes.
Proposal second that chair.
Yeah, I propose we move it to finance committee.
Mr. Mayor, I would have thought the deputy mayor's suggestion of planning would be the better one. That's where the design's going to be approved or not and so on forth. If it doesn't go there first, it should go there as well.
It will
Oh,
go
as
there
well, yeah.
eventually, yeah. Perhaps it's a case of finance first and then planning, because it will come to planning if it's a public application.
Yeah. Right, thank you.
Sorry.
So I proposed it.
You've proposed it. Anybody?
I'll second it.
Sit then.
Do you want
Job
to show
done.
of hands?
Right, that's unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Yeah.
So the police have said their
Temperature,
apologies, they've been
please.
called away.
Apologies. So the next one is the county council reps. 5 minutes each, please.
If anybody has any police issues, I'm happy to take those back. They've been called away to speak of things. You could email me.
Yeah. Well.
Ready to go?
Yep.
Say something, John.
Well, we talk about police, and I was just going to make a comment about the police, Mr. Mayor, if I may. I just wanted to make people aware, if they aren't aware, that two of our local PCSOs looks like they saved a bloke's life last week. And I just wanted us to make sure formally that we passed on our thanks for that. They saved his life where the ambulance service were nowhere in sight. And I think that's disgraceful. But I do thank the two PCSO, and I think we should formally thank them as a council for what they did. And for the officer, chief officer, and our staff in here that contributed to that attention as well. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I don't know the ins and outs of it, John, you know more about it than me. But they can actually be put forward for an award if they have to.
Well, briefly, Mr. Mayor, somebody fell on the steps, was bleeding profusely, very profusely. The staff in here were called to assist, two PCSOs and some bystanders that were helping. We used, I think Sarah says they used every bandage in the place. Couldn't stop him bleeding, he was on blood thinner. We can't divulge the chap's name if I knew it. Ambulance was called 7 hours. 7 hours for a severe hemorrhage. So the PCSOs requested permission from their control to take him in, and they took him in. I don't know what the outcome was, but if the bloke's life was saved, and I hope it was down to them, not the ambulance service.
Thank you, John. And I think we should also, knowing this, send a letter of complaint to the ambulance service.
Well, that's a lot of that already going on, Mr. Mayor.
All right.
A formal thank you to those two PCSOs, is it?
Go on, Sarah's got a bit.
I have complained to the ambulance service, and I've had a response to that already, which I proposed to put on a committee, if that's all right. Because we were very busy. But I also sent that to Mark Barlow and thanked it's 3 PCSOs actually, because they were incredible. And he had a severed artery in his head, so had they not taken him, he would have died.
In his head?
Yeah.
Right, Keith, sorry, mate.
Don't know how to follow that. I will try.
You.
In terms of the megabit and everything else, this is just one supplier of 25 that are going to be across the whole of the county. So all this area will be covered by at least one of the suppliers. So hopefully it can be you most supplier, it would be great. But there you go. Just wanted to get that out there. And I really like the garden design, everything else to see here tonight. Fantastic news. In terms of, I'll try and get through these. There's quite a lot to be getting on with. In terms of the Family Improvement Board, it started up again. I've sent through things about child death issues around the Safety Awareness Week. I've also done the Adult Learning Skills, which is about budgetary training for those families that are struggling, and the HAT, which is obviously for activities during the Easter holidays and when people can register for those. So that's 3 things that have come forward. We've had a full council meeting. The council meeting is going to be on Thursday, and there's security on that. And if Nigel wants to make a comment on that, you can do. There's been a working group that we attended. I think Nigel was there for some of it. I'm not sure. Where Cannock Chase put forward their nature plans for the coming years. And there was also a nature and biodiversity strategy for the county council, which I'm sure I'll leave that up to Nigel if he wants to make further more detailed comments on that. We also had 2 meetings with the 2 chief officers for both the county and the district. And again, I'll leave that up to Nigel if he wishes to say anything on those, but that was a very nice meeting. And the leader, the CEO of the county, Paddy, was said that he will come back. So there won't just be, it's not just a one-way street. They're going to come back and see what else
we can do for Biddulph and surrounding areas. So and I'll, obviously, if that happens, me and I will be involved in that as well. I also went over to see the Repair Cafe on one Saturday morning, and they explained to me what they were doing. A great idea that was, and I looked at all the dates there, and that was great. I've been helping out with the Biddulph Youth Zone with some idea about how they're going to apply for grants. They're having difficulty in relation to the cost of fuel, heating, and all these other areas as well. And they still want to try and put some solar panels on the roof, which is a very big element of what they want to do to the future to reduce their costs. Some good news on the repairs. Apparently, they have been getting on with things over the last couple of weeks, and there's only a few more days to go on that. So that's quite good news. So I'll continue working with Anthony and his team up there, and also the county officers. Health Committee has been on 2 visits to the 2 suppliers of services within the mental health, but other areas as well. And that took a whole day last week. So if anyone wants to know about the feedback from that, that's I can let them know about that. But that was a very detailed meeting. We had 2 hours in one location and 2.5 hours in another. And I must say that the amount of culture that's needed now to change the way that things have been done over many years is certainly, I believe, is slowly turning the page at the moment. And I do think that really the North is leading the way on this. So I think that's quite good in relation to what you want to try and achieve here as a council. 4.99% of council tax was agreed. I don't know whether that was mentioned last time. So that's been an increase that went through the last full council meeting. Knibersley Fishing Club, I had a meeting with them, as I explained last time. I've now downloaded that to officers. Officers will come back to us, and they do want to do some idea of a consultation which will occur over the summer. That's something that I had confirmed this morning at a meeting with the officers in charge of that arrangement. I've got some more ideas, and again, I can't go through any detail because of the limitation of time, but anything to do with Ukrainian support schemes and everything like that, that has now come through. I've got a letter. I will try and circulate that if that's your wishes, and that's quite detailed in terms of what's happening with relation to Ukrainian families that are staying in this country. Libraries and everything like that are now upgrading their support for local people and everything else. As I'm sure you're aware, there's Women's Week and everything else. So again, if anyone wants that to be sent through to them, I can do that as well. I'm sure Nigel could as well. In terms of the working group for Knibersley and looking at school safety, it's something that I've carried on over from Endon and Brown Edge and here. And the working group now has some material. I found the material that I should have sent a few weeks back. I've had some issues with my iPad and my the iPad at district, and for some reason it's affected other things. But anyway, I found it. It's gone to Sarah, and hopefully we'll be getting arrangement on that one. There have been some road closures as well. In terms of my DHP highways, which some of you have talked to this evening, there's going to be a site visit on the 24th of April. And so that's something that if you want to arrange a meeting to see something within my patch, please let me know, and I can try and arrange that on that day. In terms of crossing patrol officer report, which I got in from Councillor Salt, Mr. Butterworth, in terms of Shepherd Road and the crossing there, which is a bit of an awkward, not quite crossroads there. I went to do a site visit, and that's now on my DHP. Thank you, Kevin, on that comment. And I think the other thing is that the drop curve that I've been working with as well in East Biddulph is something that I also pushed hard on. I leave it that. There's more, but that's it for me.
Thank you very much, Keith.
So any questions, please ask me. After the meeting, is that the new arrangement now?
Whatever.
Yeah.
If you can hang about.
Okay.
What I would suggest, if you're in agreement, councillors, is that anything that Keith's got paper-wise, that can be sifted through to Sarah, and then she can push it to us on our various laptops, etc. I think that would be a lot easier than Keith. You know what I mean? So if you could do that.
I'll do it, yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, has anybody got any questions for anybody? No? Right, Keith, on your bike. Right, Nigel.
Yes, right. Very briefly, I presume a lot of people saw the safety, well, the monitoring cameras on the zebra crossing down at the Biddulph Arms as part of the survey work which you're doing there, because the aspiration there is to get some kind of pelican or two can cross and fitted, and also the cameras were put on Halls Road as well to effectively look at what kind of traffic management we can put onto Halls Road and Mile Lane, and really see if we can improve the road safety in that area. So that is progressing quite nicely, and I hope to have the results of the survey work to present in April. But like everything, there could be a degree of slippage. I have printed off a few copies of the list of resurfacing works which is due to be done in the Biddulph North division. I always have a degree of scepticism in case there is a little bit of slippage. There was a little bit of slippage last year, which is catching up. But I am pleased to report, for the people who do drive around, you will see an awful lot of white paint, certainly on Halls Road, Station Road, and they've started some work on the bypass. So the programme for this year is actually starting before the financial year starts, which does look positive at this moment in time. Keith touched on the visit of the Chief Executive, Pat Flaherty. We also had Andrew Stokes here, and obviously Sarah Hayden was here. So to have all three chief officers together in one room, just purely talking about Biddulph, I thought was absolutely fantastic. Broad range of subjects, including regeneration of the town centre, safer walking routes to school, vacant seats on school buses, adaptation strategy. In other words, how can our road network withstand the considerations of climate change, impacts of climate change, which we've got, using more flat curving, using more investment to actually dig the roads and do them properly, as opposed to put sticking plasters on them. We had a good tour of Biddulph, including Grange Road, New Street, Overton Road. We spent an awful lot of time up there. We named some of the potholes, which we referred to as a follow-up. The other thing which I want to talk about related to that, it's up on the screen there. I'm going to ask Sarah if she can distribute the link through by email. Is Let's Talk About Transport, which is the county council's response, or the county council's response to the government, who have stated that unless there is a competent local transport plan, there will be no additional funding for initiatives outside of normal maintenance and repairs. So Staffordshire County Council are working on a local transport plan, which will run from 2025 to 2030. As a consequence, all the discussions, all the consultations, all the meetings with interested parties are going to happen in a very small, compressed space and time. So it's very important that we get this information out to residents who are interested in making an input. We've certainly discussed it this morning at Staffordshire Moorlands District Council at the Growth in the Economy. We're going to follow up with a special meeting in April, specifically focused on Staffordshire Moorlands input on this local transport plan. And I've mentioned earlier today that we're going to discuss it at Biddulph's Transport Committee when we're on the 93 bus driving around. So it's very important that Biddulph has the opportunity, which it will have at that meeting, to put its thoughts through to Staffordshire Moorlands. We've had a confirmed meeting arranged now since this morning's meeting with David Atkinson, who is the lead on the local transport plan. That's going to be on the 20th, I think it's on the 26th of April. And that is when Staffordshire Moorlands can put their case forward. And I would like to ensure that Biddulph has got a proper representation on that. There is a small survey to fit in the bottom. You see there where there's a click through, so you can quickly fill that in. But the important thing is for everybody, residents, councillors, officers, get their opinions across, because it will be analysed by a computer effectively to produce tables and results about what's required. And I'll leave mine at that.
Thank you, Nigel. John,
yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Did you say 26th of April? Yes. Why do we never get to know about these things until it's like 3 weeks away, the deadline? That's just a rhetorical question. I just wanted to ask, and I don't want to put work onto Councillor Norton or put words in his mouth, but is it something that our transport work should be working group should be contributing to.
That's exactly what I said. That's
I mean, the one here, not about SMDC.
yeah, absolutely. That's we have our meeting.
Is Jim, but
we have our meeting a month before the Staffordshire Moorlands meeting, so that gives plenty of opportunity for the early discussions, then push it through. And I was looking towards your direction, Adrian, because I know you've got
certainly
lots of local knowledge on that.
It just frustrates me slightly that these things always seem to come along, and the deadline is like next week or next month.
I'm afraid there's a lot of it's down to central government. It's exactly the same with the levelling up fund, to do it, and we've got the constraints given from central government.
Councillor Garvey. Thank you, Chair. Just to add a little bit more on that, because the meeting that I had on this morning, the deadline, the actual consultation period of this, once the plan's been put together, is from October to December. However, we specifically requested that the County Council come and talk to the District Council at the meeting this morning, and they declined to do so. As a committee of the District Council, we are registering our dissatisfaction with the lack of consultation in the early stages of the development of the transport strategy, because we believe, and I think this is echoed across the whole of the all the parties at the District Council, that this should be driven from the ground up, not from the top down.
Absolutely.
Okay, so just to assure everybody that from a district point of view, the county councils on that committee have agreed to take it back to register our dissatisfaction in the way in which it's been handled and the lack of effective and considered consultation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Has anyone else got any questions? Right, that's it. Thank you very much, Nigel. So if we can now move on to declarations. To receive apologies and approve reasons for absence. Have we any?
Yes, Councillor Hart, Councillor Wood.
Have we got reasons, or we've got we're the same reasons, that's all.
Yeah.
But you've accepted that reasons,
yeah,
that's fair. All right, thank you. And I hope Sylvia's getting better, if she can get better.
Certainly, she had a fall into August.
I think she's still in.
Still in.
Can I ask, have we sent Sylvia any sort of card, flowers or whatever as a council?
I've rung her when she's been at home, apart from that.
Recently, should we send another card?
Oh, I think we should send something, yeah, you know.
Get into that this week.
Okay, thank you. Right, thank you, councillors. Declaration of interest to declare any disposable pecuniary interests and dispensations. I'm sure as we're going through, right, go on, Wayne.
Just like travel expenses, that's all.
Thank you. I'm sure as we're going through, if you have forgotten, something will jog your memory. And the next one, to declare any other disposable interests. Disclosable interests, even. Anyone? Right, thank you. 98. Oh, the voice is going already. To approve and sign the minutes of the town council meeting.
Go through them.
Yes, please. If you don't mind.
So just going through the minutes of the town council meeting held on Tuesday the 13th of February. In attendance, 79 public participation, 80 apologies, 81 declarations of interest, 82 minutes of previous meetings, 83 mayor's communications, 84 standing agenda items, 85 to receive an update on outside body meetings attended since the January meeting, 86 to approve that Councillor Eardley will become a member of the Finance Strategy and Management Committee, switching with Councillor Holsworth, who will become a member of the Recreation and Amenities Committee. 87 to approve that the Town Council will become a member of the Financial Inclusion Group for North Staffordshire, with a membership fee of £50 that supports group events. 88 to confirm that licence agreements have been received from Staffordshire Moorlands District Council for projects at the Gillerheath Station and the Town Hall frontage. 89 accounts and finance. And then we moved on to confidential items, which was 90 to consider an approach from the National Trust in relation to the excavation of the Lime Lodge footings at the end of the Batement Walk. 91 to confirm the next steps regarding the St John's Road mining license. To receive a report on a violent incident at Biddulph Town Hall and to confirm an appropriate response. 93, to confirm information technology arrangements for 2024 to 27, and some quotations were tabled. 94, Biddulph and Bloom. Do we have a proposer for those minutes? Councillor Jackson, do we have a seconder? Councillor Garvey.
Thank you. A very quick one, and shoot me down if you want, but would it be helpful and speedy if we just gave the minute number without having to read the thing that minute is related to? We've all got it in front of us. I'm just thinking we're about saving time. It might say,
you're absolutely 100%, and that was tried once before. And
what do you mean?
Yeah, actually moaned. But let's try it again.
I've skipped the paragraph headings.
I'm not being.
No, you're bob on. You're bob on. So that's a proposal by Councillor Jackson. I'd like to second that. So that's it then. We just read the headline. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we don't read the headlines. We just read the number.
The numbers. Yeah.
You got a proposer second.
Yeah. All in favour? Be done. Thank you very much. Ooh, this is great. How far have you got, mate?
See the minutes.
Right, to see the minutes of the Recreation and Amenities Committee, 13th of February.
Now, this isn't bingo, so put your cards away. So these are the minutes of the Recreation and Amenities Committee on Tuesday, the 13th February 2024. 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, and that concludes the minutes. Now, when I read the numbers out, I am looking to see if anybody wants to sort of interject, so it's not just a case of reading a list out. Scanning to see if somebody
maybe picky, Mr. Mayor. Well, when you get to an item that's got an A, B, and a C, you should do A, B, C, and D as well.
That does it.
This is how it should be done. This is how it used to be done.
We have a proposer for those minutes. Councillor Redfern, seconded by Councillor Garvey. Show of hands, please.
Yeah, keep going, mate.
So the minutes of the Planning Committee meeting held on Tuesday, the 20th February 2020. Minutes, Mr. 69 apologies. 70 declarations of interest, A and B.
Have you forgotten what this
numbers? Your memory's gone.
You just said
he's been to Singapore. Leave the lad alone.
I've got jet lag. You just said read out the different.
Say 70B, not 70B. Saying.
You wait till you get here, pal.
What's your name? What is the on about?
I love it.
72.
Yeah.
You know, 73.
Yeah.
74. 75.
Got that far.
Oh, what's my place now?
76.
Right.
And 77.
We need a second.
We've had a proposal. Can we have a second, Councillor Garvey? Show of hands, please. So.
Oh no, you keep going.
So next one is minutes of town and community meeting held on Tuesday, the 20th of February, 2024.
I move those minutes, please.
Yeah. 57, 58, A and B, 59, 60, 61, A, B, and C, 62, 63, 64, and 65. Can we have a proposal, please? Can we have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Councillor Jones.
Can only get better.
We get in there, yeah.
Show of hands.
Thank you.
So, hang on, Charlie, you've got your hand. Sorry, Councillor.
Yeah. Can I just ask, was there no finance? No. Thanks.
That one. There was, but the stress levels have gone up. I can't go for doing a finance.
Right, what on Mayor's Comms? Well, Mayor's Comms, I've only got one. Well, first of all, I think some of us went to a certain place at Leek where we had where we met with the Leek councillors and past and present. And I think we all had a good time there. But moving on from that, this is Biddulph Mailboys Choir on the 6th of April. It'll be downstairs, and it doesn't say a price for the tickets actually, but I'm sure you'll enjoy yourself if you do come along. No, there isn't a price. Free. Well, there you go. So that's the only comments that I've had. And of course I've got it well. Oh yeah, and of course we had they call it the fun run, don't they? It's something around the pool. Judging by the faces, there wasn't much fun about it. I tell you, they were working hard, just breathing. I think that was attended by over 200 people, was it, Wayne, I think?
In excess of 200, one of the biggest we've ever.
Yeah. I think as the man, I would like to thank both Wayne and my friend here, you know, for the hard work that they did. I felt sorry for them when they put in a roadblock up and they're having to talk to people nice and friendly like. Because, you know, some people, they just wanted to go there, forget what was going on. I've always gone there, you know, they couldn't just miss it for one day a year. Both of them were very tactful, very explicit. So, yeah, I think you did very, very well. Thank you. And Biddulph Running Club, let's be fair about it. Without Biddulph Running Club, this wouldn't be happening. And, you know, going back through the years, I mean, Wayne resurrected the run, and it's proved to be a good earner for the mayor, really, putting it bluntly. And all that money goes back to local charities. So it's well done. Again, well done to the pair of you. Thank you very much. That's the last time I'm going to say thank you to you. All right. Right.
Make a note.
Right, standing agenda items. A, to receive an update to the management of the town council assets. Sarah.
Thank you. There's not much to say on this. We've still got a number of licenses and agreements that were outstanding for the various different projects that we've got around the town. I understand the delay is not with the assets team, but with the legal team at the Stafford District Council. So the head of assets is hoping to kind of chase that a little bit. Some of the allotment projects and areas of the town we just need to get moving with. You'll notice, if you look very carefully, that we're having a lot of fire door work done this week on the first floor of Town Hall. So that will move us more towards our compliance targets. I've got much else to say on that.
Right, thank you very much. Any questions on that, anyone? Gary?
Can I ask specifically about what's happening with the visitors centre further forward?
That's one, if I may, Chair.
That was answered quickly, wasn't it?
That's one of the ones I expected. Yeah.
Right, any other questions, anybody? Right, thank you, we'll move on. Thank you, that's Sarah. Trees updates and health and safety activities, including risk management. Oh, sorry, Jill. Just saw your hand moving, Councillor.
Well, before
or
after the chief officer, but I'm going to say every meeting until we hear something back. But it wasn't minuted actually. I've just gone back and checked the minutes, and I did say it in the last council meeting. It wasn't minuted. But RAC, we need some movement from SMDC on whether this building's got RAC. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you. Just to confirm that we've had our fire risk assessment done on the 1st of March. The corporate health and safety advisor from the district council has come out to do that. And the arrangements are working very well with your deputy, Councillor Holder.
I know he's in charge now.
Not official. But we've been doing lots of kind of walk-arounds and conversations, and we've completed, unfortunately, but we've put in a process to review serious incidents as well, which is the process that we went through a couple of weeks ago.
Thank you very much. Have you got anything to say on that one, my friend?
Yeah, just very quickly, I want to commend the staff for the way they handled and diffused what could have been a very nasty situation. So.
Won't you? You have to wave it up. I can't see you.
The incident on the steps, did we have to report that through Riddle? Was it because it was on our premises? If it was a slip on the steps or
It was on the pavement.
oh, okay. Not ours.
Thank you, Joe. All in favour of accepting that thing? Vote? Yes? Thank you very much. Moving on to update on Biddulph Works Together project.
We haven't had another meeting since the last thing. Most of the groups are kind of winding up their activities just in advance of Easter, but at the last meeting we reported back the fact that the town council was going to move forward with their recommendations in chunks from the report that Councillor Sullivan her team had completed, based on the fact that we're going to try and expand the remit of the group, the Biddulph Works Together group. We've had an approach from the library who would like to trial a new group, and they've asked for £100 part of the Biddulph Works Together project. So that's within our budget to give that, but it seems quite a nice extension to the work that we've been doing already. Lots of the groups are kind of winding up their warm spaces, heating projects, but still continuing to meet and talk about relevant issues.
Yes, just to say, a copy of Councillor Salt's work, report and analysis was given to the Chief Executive of Staffordshire County Council, the Cabinet Member for Communities and the Leader of Staffordshire County Council, as well as Member Services, because it all helps to potentially get more funding from the County Council, to be perfectly honest, because Member Services, they're the ones who vet the applications for the funding, so they were very pleased to receive it, and they were very complimentary of its content, so well done.
Do you not take direct accounting?
That's what I did.
Oh, I thought you said district.
No, county.
Oh, right. County. Yeah. Right. Thank you very much for that. All in favour of accepting a brief? Thank you very much. To receive an update on the outside bodies meetings attendance since January 2024. Now, so we're talking of Biddulph in Blue. Just had an update from them, unless anything else has come up. No. One way, Councillor Rogers.
Yeah, just quickly, a couple of updates. I'll bring the Chief Officer and it's very brief in a second. On the Mullers Assembly last week, Chief Officer and myself went there. Some good presentations in many ways. And they were saying about the solar panels on the leisure centre are now nearly fitted and they're working on the ground source heat pumps. And I asked if we could be involved on the official switch on, so we can promote other things that we do for the environment and climate in this area, which they agreed to. And the other one was a quick update on the latest maintenance of the defibs, if I can bring the Chief Officer on that one very briefly, please.
Chief Officer.
Well, I haven't got a lot to say, actually. There was a chap who's taking over the defib arrangements across the district was there. I think it just raised some questions for me as to how we transition from one to another. So I'll have some discussions going forward about how we manage that and just get some clarity as to what the contract actually says.
Yeah. All right. Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to clarify on that and to make absolutely sure nobody's under any misunderstanding about defib maintenance, as you know, Mr. Mayor, as Chairman of Biddulph Lifeline, there is no current issue whatsoever with the defibrillators in Biddulph. They are in the process of being transferred to AED Donate through the contract that SMDC are negotiating, but there is absolutely no issue with the maintenance with them presently. They are all serviced and up to date. The Mayor has got some batteries and some pads for me to fit in the next couple of days, but they're all in 100% working order and have been for several years. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just to add on to what John is saying, I'll come back to you in a minute, Jill. Just add on what John is saying in the office, the back office. There's 4 batteries, 4 sets of pads, and a bill for 12,500. So which I've paid. So please, please, the sooner the better. But thank you for that, John. Jill, sorry, Councillor Song.
We
or will AED Donate register with the British Heart Foundation? Because they've got a scheme on at the minute where they want all defibs across the country registered with the British Heart Foundation. Is that something AED Donate are doing, or is it?
If I may, Mr. Yeah. As far as I'm aware, there is no requirement as regards the ambulance service, and they're the people that give people access to these things, for British Heart Foundation to be involved. What they are registered on is a piece of software called the Circuit, which is a national database. So whether just because the defib isn't on AED Locate or on a British Heart Foundation website, it don't matter. It's no good finding it on one of them, because the only people that can give you the number, if they can get their heads around doing it properly, and I put that qualifier on, is West Midlands Ambulance Service. And all our defibs are on the Circuit. So if a defib gets used, we should be told, currently as Lifeline, AED Donate will be told going forward, and they can see about reinstating it back to full working order after it's been used. At the moment, there are there are some holes in the West Midlands Ambulance Service system still. And I've had a couple of instances in the last couple of months where I've had a phone call from Sue downstairs saying, somebody's turned up with a defibrillator this morning. Is it yours? And of course it's ours, yeah. But I should have been told it had been drawn, and I haven't been told. So if that person hadn't got the sense to bring it back here, and it's happened a couple of times, that defib could have just disappeared, and we wouldn't have known who'd had it. So these are hopefully some of the holes that AED Donate are going to plug, because they are lobbying West Midlands Ambulance Service quite strongly about the holes in their system. So I hope that puts people's minds at rest. But as far as the ongoing maintenance of them and the state of them, they're in good order.
Yeah.
Hopefully two of them as well.
And every time we do replace a battery or whatever, John marks it up on his master sheet. So he's got an up to date.
And we're not replacing the batteries with the flat. We're replacing them
before then.
Well,
yeah. Right, Staffordshire Parish Councils.
That's right.
Sorry.
The question on that.
Mr. Councillor Garvey.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to say, with the transition to the AED Donate, I'd like to propose a vote of thanks to Councillor Jones, Councillor Harper, and all the other members of the Biddulph Lifeline for the work they've done over the many years to maintain the defibrillators in the town. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that.
And just to name names, it's the town crier, John Robinson, and the local solicitor, Tony Birchall.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Might as well name the guilty.
Yeah. Wayne, sorry, you're about to talk, weren't you? Yeah. Is that you?
No, it's Wayne.
Go on, again. Oh, me last night.
I would know, SPCA. Quite a long discussion on making national speed limits from 60 to 40. Quite a long discussion went on saying it's not practical in lots of cases. So we said instead of it being a national campaign, you should put it down to local councils if local councils think it should happen in their area. But I did say the logistics of it and the cost of it would be phenomenal. That was quite a long discussion last night, really. All the things weren't relevant to Bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Wayne. Any questions of anybody? Right, thank you very much. We'll move on. Sorry? Moorlands Partnership Board. Well, there's a meeting this week, which I'll be attending. And what's on the agenda, I don't know as yet. So we'll report back to you in the fullness of time.
Mine's lanterns.
There's a Biddulph project on the agenda, Chair.
Is it really?
They're proposing is approved for the full amount.
Right. How much is that?
8,000.
8,000.
Yeah.
Right. Fair enough.
Well, you got put, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Vote for that one. Brilliant.
Has everybody got a spare arm as well? Item requested by councillors?
Twinning, Chair, sorry.
Twinning, oh yeah. Go on, Twinning Association, anybody?
Michael.
Fair trade.
Fair trade.
The one thing we need to say about fair trade, Chair, for me, is that you are required to vote on Fanny further downstairs. There's A to E, I think. There's a little slip of paper in front of you, so vote which one you prefer, and then the winning school, whichever that may be, will then be the fair trade kind of school of the year.
Is there a box to put this in?
Just poke it under reception, put a power.
Does the winning school get a you know, prize for us, so
Not for
50
you,
quid.
it's the
Yeah.
welfare group. It's the
Fair
public
enough.
government, we're supporting them. with
Right,
that.
can I get into Councillor Salt now?
Yes.
Come on. You can talk this time, Jeff.
So, I've organised a couple of stakeholder groups so far that have turned into a group called the Biddle Football Group. If anybody wants to attend, the next meeting's on Friday morning at 10 AM. It clashed last time, I think, with the CCTV group. But I know about football and Biddle because my son plays, the 14-year-old who's played ever since he was 6. So he's gone all the way through the Biddle teams. He plays at the Sandhole, at the minute, Halls Road. But basically, I don't know if you know, but football has exploded in the town over the last sort of 4 to 5 years, particularly the growth in the female game since the Women's World Cup. And we've got problems with pitches. So currently, there's a document that accompanies this that Simon Robinson has kindly produced. He's worked with all the local teams to produce it, so hopefully you've read it. But there's problems with pitches. Biddle High School pitches are unplayable most of the year because they're too boggy, despite having drainage work done about a decade ago. Mill Hayes is often unplayable because of drainage issues. The Sandhole pitches have not been looked after properly for quite some time, bearing in mind that it's a community asset and dog walkers and things are on there as well, which they should be because it's a park for everybody. But there are significant issues with Halls Road. So we've got significant issues with council-run pitches. We've got significant issues with school pitches. Woodhouse, for example, is like a bog. So currently teams can't play on there. That needs drainage work doing. And we've got no synthetic pitches that are up to standard at all in Biddle. So the one at Biddle High School has passed its sell-by date. That needs work doing to it. You can play on it, but it won't be licensed by the FA to play full games and it's not full-sized. The one at James Bateman is way beyond its sell-by date. That was built as a result of the bypass that was built 20 years ago. It's never had anything done to it. It's way past its sell-by date now. It needs redoing. It's got no flood lighting, so can't be used in the evening. And in addition, that isn't full-size pitch. And then the only other one we've got is at the Cricket Club. And if anybody's seen the state of that pitch, the turf, well, it's not turf. It's all lifting. It's in an atrocious state. And the problem is our local organisations simply haven't got the money to invest in a synthetic pitch. So currently to train, especially in the winter, our teams are having to go to Congleton, into the city, where most schools in Congleton and most schools in the city have got a full-size synthetic pitch, or over to Leek, because Leek High School has got a synthetic pitch, and obviously there's been hundreds of thousands invested into Leek Football Club by SMDC. So at the minute, Biddulph is the absolute poor relation. So we've got a massive growth in the game. Facilities are crud, for want of a better word. So this motion is to do what we can as Biddulph Town Council to support grassroots football in our town. So all I'm asking you to do is Biddulph Town Council is committed to encouraging grassroots football in our town, noting the huge recent growth and the fact we've over 60 grassroots teams. It acknowledges the issues faced with facilities locally and will do all we can to lobby partners like Staffordshire Moorlands District Council and signpost clubs to funding, for example, the FA Football Foundation, and any other pots of funding that we're aware of, with the aim of ensuring that this growth can be sustained for the benefit of the health and well-being, which is a remit of Biddulph Town Council. It's one of our ambitions of our local community. So that's all I'm asking you to do today is support that motion. Thank you.
Yeah, I think, if I may first go, I think what you're saying, Jill, Councillor Salt, is well worth supporting. I think it would be wrong of us to not support it, quite frankly. And I would certainly propose that we do accept what you say, because part of health and well-being is through things like sport and activity. And I think, you know, we've really got to promote this because we do have problems with health, sadly. And if I mean, I'm not a football player and I don't like football. It's the wrong shaped ball for me. But, you know, we've got to support these things for our young. And they're not so young. So please support this motion. It's Kevin, then you, John.
Yeah, Chair. Let's formally second the proposal that Joe's put forward. I've read through this report, and I think thanks to Simon, there's got a heck of a lot of work into that. And it's certainly enlightened me on how many teams that we've got coming in. And really, I mean, the growth in women on credit with the success of the Lions a year or two ago. Which is great, but obviously it's going to put more and more pressure on the limited number of pitches we've got. I was thinking like the best way forward with this, that's the next step, isn't it, really? Obviously the district council, something like this wants to go into the district somewhere along the lines to see what's available to the district. I'm sure you're going to tell me you're already doing that.
I can, if there's anything else, I can come back after Councillor Jones just to respond to everything, if that's all right.
Yeah, I think without a doubt, and I mean the number of pitches that we've got that are unusable. If all those were brought into line and being made to be used, that could take a lot of pressure off some of the teams that are having to go out for training and whatever. And I think one of the things we should be sort of aspirational for, is it 5G pitches now?
It's 4G.
4G pitches that we should have at least one here in Biddle, because the need is, reading that report, that the need is definitely there. So I think that's probably something that we should be pushing for. And there is funds out there in the Football Foundation. And I think if we're looking at the district as a whole and look at where money has gone into which towns, then we've got an argument to say it's our turn now, please. The officers actually start formulating some bids together to get money in to get a 4G pitch here. Thank you, Chair.
It's Councillor Jones, and then Jill, if you could follow on from that, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm with you. I don't like football, but but I'm all for supporting this. The question I've got though is, is there no synergy or between five-a-side football and mainstream football for training at least? Because there's a really nice new all-weather pitch at Biddle. I presume there are all-weather five-a-side Halls Road. I don't know. So you can play on them and train on them. That was just a question. And I'm a little bit concerned. I like the motion, but I don't want us to restrict ourselves to just supporting football. I think there are other recreational activities, badminton, tennis, rugby. Yeah. And I think I'd just like to, if I may, Jill, just put a little amendment in and it says signpost all sports clubs to opportunities with the aim of ensuring this growth. That's all I would suggest, if I can suggest that as a little amendment. I don't think we should just limit ourselves to football. We need to be supporting all physical activity.
Sorry, what's the zone? Do they do indoor football there? I mean,
so the problem with some of the five-a-side pitches, and my lads now got to the age of 14, so the zone actually is unsafe for 11, well, more than 11 lads, 15 lads running around with football inside that area. It's too small when they're doing the kind of training and things that they do, and there's concrete walls either side, and the space is just far too small. So that will go for the other five-a-side pitches that are dotted around. So we've got the Mugger at Halls Road. We have got the Mugger at Halls Road. We've got the Mugger at Church Road, and we've got the Mugger up at Biddle. But again, in the winter when it's like this, they're not floodlit. So where do they train? You can't train on a one floodlit pitch. So that
probably be cheaper to floodlit them than drain and redo all the pitches.
But the other problem with that is the playing surface itself, in that it's concrete and it's not safe to train and play football on concrete. It's a grass sport. You get tackled, you fall over, falling over when you're training proper football on tarmac is not appropriate at all. I'm quite happy to include rugby in that, but I think the point is with this is that it's about the game and it's about the pitches. So I absolutely agree that we should support all sport, and maybe somebody else can put a motion together for that about sport and health and well-being in the town. But I'm quite happy to add rugby to this, because actually we do need a 4G pitch in order to play rugby, because 3G isn't suitable for rugby because of tackling and the kind of burns and stuff that it can cause to your skin. So it's got to be a 4G pitch and not 3G pitch. To be fair, most new pitches nowadays are 4G anyway and not 3G. So quite happy to add rugby, but it is all about the tackling, the fact that you end up on the floor, and if you end up on the floor on a concrete mugger, that's not good for anybody. There'll be lots of people up A&E. It's got to be a proper surface where you can fall and be relatively safe. So quite happy to add rugby, But I'm not happy to take it further because it is literally about the game and the research that's gone into the game. If anyone else wants to do some research, councils around the table about other sports in the town and the facilities they need, happy days. But rugby and football, please. Thank you.
I thought 4G was to do with your mobile phone, but anyway. Charlie. Councillor Smith, yes.
Just an acknowledgement of 60 teams and how many volunteers, how many parent volunteers, how many. So more often than not, there's mums and dads who are actually training the teams, and then there's mums and dads and granddads and what have you that are also doing sorting out snacks for the kids for afterwards, sorting out snacks for spectators and all that sort of thing. So there's more than just the football teams, it's about the communities around the football teams as well. One of the things I was going to say is, as much as I appreciate that football is a big thing, again, wrong shaped ball for me, but a 4G pitch, again, would ensure that we could have rugby teams in Biddulph, which we don't have at the minute, that they go to Congleton, and that would introduce more rugby into Biddulph, which I think, again, would be a real benefit. But we need those playable pitches that are suitable for both football and rugby. So I would support that.
And Jill, can you put together your proposal plus the amendment?
Grassroots football and rugby in the first sentence, I think.
Yeah. Are you happy with that, John?
No.
No.
No, I'll stick with my amendment, Mr. Mayor, that we support all sports clubs. The tagline is for the benefit of the health and well-being of our local community. Well, badminton does that, swimming does that, tennis does that. There's lots of other sports, and I don't want to limit our focus to football. I appreciate it's a big thing, but I cannot support the motion as it stands. I'm still proposing the amendment. If I don't get a second, I would ask if anybody wants to second it. If they don't,
second that. Jill. Councillor Sock.
So I'm not sure you can second it because you proposed mine, but anyway, I think you're missing the point. This is about facilities, pitches. So therefore, it's not a swimming pitch, it's not a rounders pitch, it's not a cricket pitch. They need completely separate pieces of land. It's about something that needs a pitch, and that document, if it's ready, outlines the problem with pitches, not with swimming pools, not with netball courts, with football pitches. I'm quite happy to include rugby for the reasons that I've said, but I'm not willing to amend it any further.
Hello, Councillor, you want to come in? Deputy Mayor, sorry.
Yes, I can see where John's coming from, but I think that Jill's right in this case, because we're looking at outdoor facilities in this particular motion, looking at outdoor facilities. And I do know that in the context of the other sports which you've mentioned, which are generally indoor facilities, there is quite a well-defined development plan within the whole of the Moorlands. There's certainly the Loughbid is looking after Leek Leisure Centre. Biddulph Leisure Centre has got a big investment programme going ahead. It started off with the decarbonisation, but there's a redesign of the internal facilities and upgrade which is going ahead. And we're working on one for Cheadle as well, which covers the three main indoor leisure centres, which are owned by and operated by Staffordshire Moorlands District Council. We're not obviously in control of the private gyms and things like that. So in that respect, I think that's well and truly covered and on a very competent pathway to delivery. Looking at the fields and the maintenance of fields, they have been very much neglected because it's an easy thing not to invest in. You know, if you see grass on things, well, they're only kicking the ball about or chucking the ball about, it's absolutely fine. It's almost got to the point of no return on a lot of these pitches. They've gone past the sell-by date, and it does need a very focused plan to bring these pitches up to date. It's complicated because the ownership's complicated. There's academies and schools involved. I don't think there's any county-run schools involved anymore on those pitches. And there's obviously Staffordshire Moorlands District Council pitches. And when you come to putting a 4G pitch in, you need security fencing, you need floodlights and things. So again, a lot of consideration has got to be on where that is. The one which went in on Leek was actually a Leek football ground, which has got lockable gates, lockable changing rooms and floodlights. So it's obvious. So I support the amendment to add rugby, even though that is completely the wrong shape ball for me.
if I may, Mr. Mayor, I mean, we shouldn't be debating this here. It's council.
Exactly.
Well, I'm going to say, the motion clearly says signpost clubs to funding opportunity. Clubs aren't going to build pitches. They're council pitches. So the motion itself is flawed. And we either signpost all clubs to opportunities, or the motion gets radically changed so that we'll lobby the council, the SMDC, to sort the pitches out. So let's just take it. I can't support it. My amendment is that we signpost all clubs, and that's my amendment.
Has that been seconded?
Go on.
If it hasn't been seconded, that's fine, but that's my amendment.
Has it been seconded first before I start?
Ask for a second.
Well, I'm done, Jules.
Mr. Mayor, that's all I'm asking. Has anybody seconded the amendment?
Wayne. And then I think we've got to draw a line under this.
Right, the game say that you can only speak once, and I'm going to speak once. I think rugby and football could be on one pitch. I do agree with Councillor Jones that we should incorporate other sports, but possibly not in the same pitch. But other sports should be considered. And I've spoken once, so that's all I can do. So,
are you
thank you.
seconding that amendment? That's all I'm saying.
Other sports are accounted for. I'm not saying on the same plot, but they should be accounted.
So
Hang on, guys, we're getting a bit Mickey Mouse here.
It should be catered.
Wayne, are you seconding John's proposal?
Yes, but I'm not saying on a football pitch as such, but other sports should be catered for. In this town, there's lots of other sports that need an area, sports area.
Right.
Is that a yes?
Exactly. Is that a yes or a no? Because it's
yes.
Right, that's a yes. So Councillor Rogers is seconding Councillor Jones. Well, I know, Jill, you had your hand up, and this is the last time.
Chair, the amendment, there's been an amendment thrown in. We should be allowed to speak on the amendment, and that's what I'd like to speak to, if I may.
Yeah, can I let Jill have a...
I was just going to say to the chamber again, councillors from all sides of this chamber could have gone away in the years they've been councillors, spoken to all the sports teams in Biddulph and brought a motion to this chamber within years, within months. I've done some work with the football clubs in Biddulph, and I've brought a motion. If people are concerned about other teams and other clubs that are going on in Biddulph, go and bring your own motion. You know, we can have a motion, we can have 10 motions in council every month. Go away and bring your own motion. This is about football and supporting our footballing community. If you want to support netball or swimming, go away, bring a motion back next month, and I'll support you. This is just about football. Honest to God.
Kevin. Yeah, I mean, John said the motion is flawed, but the amendment is obviously flawed by saying all, just off the top of my head. Polo, skydiving, equestrian, 3-day eventing. There's a whole host of it.
Going on to, yeah.
You brought in all. It is silly. Jill's right. She's brought a specific one, a specific sport where issues have been raised about the facilities that are for that sport. If other sports have got problems with facilities, then let them come to us. Or let's go out to them and see what all we're talking about tonight, or all we should be talking about tonight, is the motion that's in front of us. I would vote against the amendment.
Thank you. Right. I've drawn a line under it. Sorry, Jim. Councillor Garvey. The thing is, we must have a vote now on the amendment first. Yeah?
Which amendment?
So those in favour of the amendment, you please raise your hand.
Which is all sports.
Which is John's.
All sports. Okay. All sports. Yeah.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, please, as well. Thank you. You see, out there, watch this, will want to know. Thank you very much.
Well, a second.
Wayne's got his hand.
Hang on, you need a second for a named vote.
We're not including football. No, we're just including others.
Councillor Jackson seconded name.
Cute.
Right. This is getting a bit messy. Right, hands up again if you're supporting the amendment.
All sports.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Rogers, Holdsworth, Eardley, Jones, Lawson. Anyone else?
Right. The next one is, well, what's this, isn't it?
All those against the amendment.
Yeah, thank you, Kurt. All those against the amendment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Named vote there.
Named votes, well, it's all one side.
Salt, Hopkins, Parks. Oh dear. Brady, Smith. Honestly, Jackson. Yes, I know Jackson. So is everybody else, and Yates, is everybody else abstaining?
Yeah, I'm abstaining.
So we have a wave.
Those who are abstaining, please.
We're still on the amendment here.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3,
Redfern,
4,
Darby,
5 amendments.
Hawley.
5 abstaining.
Lecture.
You do, don't you?
I voted for, no, against it. For
So the amendment hasn't been carried.
Right, the amendment hasn't been carried. So then we're back to the original proposal.
With the rugby added to it.
Rugby added.
Yes. All in favour of
Just the show of hands for that.
the original one, please. Oh, you got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12.
You voted.
No. Did you want that named vote as well?
I think it's carried, isn't it, Chair?
Well.
Well, so anybody against? No. Abstentions? 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 abstentions.
And me, 5.
5 abstentions.
Right.
Must have made a lot harder than it needed to be. Really.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work. Right. Item requested by Councillor Hawley. Councillor Hawley, the floor is yours.
Yeah, can you speed up? Yes, Mr.
Right, in my role as monitoring officer, I've been concerned as to how long town council meetings have been taking. When I first came onto the town council 13 years ago, if a town council meeting lasted an hour, it was a long meeting. We've now seen meetings lasting in excess of 2 hours, culminating with last month's meeting, which lasted in excess of 2 hours, 45 minutes. I'm afraid this was the straw that broke the camel's back, and I felt we needed to address it. I've mentioned standing orders 10 and 1P, which relate to the number of times you speak on an agenda item. It's supposed to be once. If we want to have a discussion with open debate, councillors speaking more than once on an item, then the item needs to be referred to a relevant committee for debate. I've also mentioned standing orders 3F and 3G, which state that public participation should last 20 minutes, with each speaker being limited to 5 minutes. At the last meeting, public participation was well over an hour. There are other things we may need to consider. Should items be on the agenda or discussed at committee? Should outside presentations be to the relevant committee or an item on the agenda rather than public participation? We need to bring ourselves back to what council meetings are for: to ratify committee decisions through minutes, to note things that have been received or to hear various reports, not for discussions where we may want to speak more than once. It is also an issue that a committee meeting follows town council, so a 9 PM start is really out of order. Things we need to look at is how do we address the current public participation with respect to county councillors and the police? Should outside people who want to present to the council do so to full council or the relevant committee? We need criteria as to what items go on council agenda and what go on committee agendas. I know this is going to generate some discussion, so I'd like to propose that we refer this to the next Finance Strategy and Management Committee for further discussion and to decide on a way forward. And also remember, councillors can speak at a committee even if they can't vote. So that's what I'm sort of proposing, is that we actually pass this on and we try and find a better way forward to move things along. I know we tried tonight to move things, but we're now still an hour and 3/4. I mean, it's not 2 3/4, and we've still got quite a bit to go. So that's what I'm proposing, if anybody wants to second it.
I would second that.
Okay, show of hands. Yep.
Hey, that's a winner, isn't it? Right. Moving on to 104. To note that the Chief Officer is the Chair of the Staffordshire branch of the Society of Local Council Clerks.
Noted.
No,
That's it.
105. Yeah, thank you very much. So I keep looking at you, Councillor Holdsworth, and see that grey part of the window, and I keep thinking it's you. Yeah.
I haven't got.
Because of the, yeah. Yeah. Right, so we done 104, and thank you, I hope you do it well, but it doesn't let you there. 105, to note that the town council has been shortlisted in the Let's Celebrate Town programme in infrastructure category. Oh, there you go. Anybody to say anything on that?
Noted.
Did it come with any money?
Yeah.
Excellent. Jill, councillor.
Just to offer congratulations, but also encourage, hopefully with the support of the council, and that's what I propose, that if the chief officer and members of the town council, well, staff members in particular, want to go down and receive that, if there's an opportunity in an award ceremony, then I think we should be encouraged, because I think it'd be really good for networking. So I propose that this town council supports the opportunity for the team to go down to London, because I think that's where it's being held in the Lords, I think you said. Because I think it's a great opportunity to network and share best practice. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Quite a books.
Councillor Garvey.
Second, proposal.
Right. Can we have that? Well, we've got a proposal on a second. All in favour, please.
Use on the books if we go.
Right, moving on to item 106, accounts and finance. Can I suggest that we're looking at the first page, that we accept that, unless anybody's got any burning questions, and then we turn over the leaf. Go on, Councillor Jackson.
Yeah, just a query. I'm sure it was passed up. When it finance, it was the barrister's fees for the arrangement. Yeah. And was it a full council or finance that?
Yeah, I brought that to full council.
Right. Okay. Obviously, Middleton Bloom now is starting to be a financial strain as well as on this town council. The £1,000 or £1,000 bit later on in the thing not reading as well. So we need to be very wary about these costs that Middleton Bloom are incurring, or we are incurring on their behalf. We all know what a wonderful organisation it is and how highly valued it is by the people. But I do think we need to keep a close eye on how much Middleton Bloom is going to cost us in the near future and ongoing.
Right, thank you, Kevin. Right, so on that first, Councillor.
I won't mention the figures, but on the top line, the gas, we've got to do something, haven't we? I don't want to discuss it in this meeting, but we've said before, we've got to try and control it a little bit better than we are at the moment.
Actually coming down it.
Oh, we're on the other page now, are we there?
So
we're still
top of page, sorry.
Yeah, I quite agree with you. I think everybody would agree with you, so any other questions on that one or comments?
Just a query on gas, if you don't mind, Mr. Mayor. Is that for a quarter or for a month? Oh, geez.
We've got to do something without announcing the thing, because we're on YouTube.
Yeah. So I think the chief officer will look at that closely. Go on.
About that, I'm pretty sure that we will be looking at the prices of gas and going for the most competitive gas prices. I'm sure everyone's quite aware of gas prices being astronomical for everyone at the moment, but particularly for businesses. So just to make that.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Right, the next page with the heading on Tony's treats. Any questions on that page? Right, okay, moving on. Before you think of some. The next one, starting off with the Amazon key tags. That page there. Any questions, queries, please raise your hand. Right. So we now move on to.
Does everyone have a supplementary?
They were on the door.
Thank you very much.
Johnson.
We all know what a copy?
Everyone see them? Everyone got sides or something?
I can now.
Are you happy with us to proceed, councillors, with this? Right, so if you look at this one's headline is salaries. That's the page that we're looking at, the supplementary. Can we accept this, please? No questions? Oh, Charlie. Oh, right.
Are you moving on block, Chair?
Yeah, we're moving on below then. Proposed and seconded then. Thank you. I'll second. Thank you very much. Show of hands for accepting. Right, unanimous, thank you. Right, the next one is confidential items. This is where I think the thing's turned off, isn't it?
Yep, say goodbye to it.
Yeah. So YouTube viewers, we're going on to confidential item. That means it's confidential and we can't discuss it in front of you at all. Thank you very much for watching.